dreaming of a stunning landscape or a refreshed living space, look no further than Casey's Outdoor Solutions and Gift Shop. Located just outside of Bright, Indiana, Casey specializes in transforming the outside of your home with expert landscaping services. They'll also help you beautify the inside with unique finds from their amazing gift shop. We want to send a huge thank you to Casey's Outdoor Solutions and Gift Shop for being a fantastic sponsor of the Strong Dads podcast. Their support helps us continue to uplift and inspire dads in our community. For all your landscaping dreams and eye-catching home accents, visit Casey's Outdoor Solutions and Gift Shop. That's Casey's, making your home beautiful inside and out. Welcome to Strong Dads. This is Merle Hutchinson along with Andy Dalton, bringing you another great show. Andy, how you doing this morning?
We're doing wonderful. How about you? Fresh cut?
I just got the wig busted. I'm all looking good.
Yeah, there you go.
You don't have a lot to work with, lady. Just
keep it simple, keep it easy. I don't want to have to worry about it.
Yeah. I tease her because I've been going to the same lady for, 30 some years. And I tease her all the time because I said, I'm going to quit coming to you. Every time I come to you, I just seem to get more gray hair.
Yeah, blame it on her.
Yeah, because she's the only common factor. So, anyway, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm enjoying the diving right in. Being able to see you guys and get into a rhythm with Rock Solid. It's exciting.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you feel like you're learning by drinking out of the fire hose, right?
Yeah.
Because we're doing trainings. You and I are doing training scenarios. What do you think about those?
I think they're good. I mean, you do a really good job. I tell you what. And so for those watching, Merle will be different people, and then
which is really easy. That's probably not good, right?
Easy that you can I'm going to be David today.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to you just don't know what you don't know until you're sitting in these sessions and going through this. So I mean, it's awesome to be able to have this practice and sit down with you. And then when we're done, I get to pick your brain of okay, well, how would you do it this way?
Right.
And you've done a great job of saying there's 9 million ways to get to Cincinnati from here.
Right.
Pick a way and go with it. But, maybe this is a different route you can take, or this is, and so I really enjoyed listening, learning, and you're right. I don't know how much I've retained yet. I've learned a ton. And so.
Yeah. Well, I think part of what you do is you learn patterns that people start to exhibit. And, one-off behaviors, you just learn to say, oh, well, that's a guy went out and got drunk. All right, well, that's not good, but I'm not going to beat him up.
Yeah.
That guy goes out and gets drunk every weekend. Oh, we've got a pattern. And so when you get these patterns, and that's what you learn when you work with people, that patterns start to reveal a whole lot more of what's going on. And so that's what you're looking for with people a lot of times, and backgrounds and all that stuff. So you're picking that up already, and you're going to get more and more of it. And so gray hair.
That's good.
How you get it.
Got it. So remind me, don't go. Okay, got it.
So today we're actually going to talk, guys, about this is going to be about the fatherhood statistics, all right? And so Andy and I are going to go over some of these statistics, and really what it leans to is the purpose of what our dads have in the family, in the marriage, and what happens when we're not doing our job. So these, by the way, all of our statistics that we're going to talk about today come from the National Fatherhood Initiative, which is a secular government-appointed committee that is, and I like that because, sometimes when you hear different things from different podcasters or authors, you can see that there could be a slant. Oh, they're coming from a Christian perspective, or they're coming from this perspective. And this is secular, right? But it's right up the alley of what we do here with Strong Dads, of saying, oh, even a secular committee here realizes that without dads, we've got these problems.
Yes.
And so we're going to go through some of these and talk about what you and I actually saw and do see in our work, but in the school setting, all your years in the school setting, in the coaching, in the football world, and how we saw that because I think it's important that we talk about the firsthand experiences so that it has it's realistic and it has meaning to it. Yeah. So
no, I've never even dove into the statistics, and you know it. Like, you could probably talk to people. Well, yeah, it's better to have a dad in the house, but to sit down and see nearly 1 in 4 children, the equivalent of filling up New York City twice or Los Angeles 4 times over. I'm just reading this right here, and the prevalence. This is from 2024, right? The U.S. Census Bureau, cited by the National Fatherhood Initiative. That many children grow up without a dad in the house.
Yeah, crazy.
Man, it's so to be able to dive into this with you, I think is going to be exciting, and to share with you guys like how prevalent this is. And like I said, you talk about it, but this is real statistics from last year, 2024, about the prevalence and the importance of having not just dads there, but being present and being involved in the raising of the children.
Yeah. Hey, before we go any farther, I want to thank our sponsors.
Yep.
We want to thank Quality Auto Mart, Casey's Outdoor Solutions, and the Hebron Grill for being sponsors of the Strong Dads podcast. So we want to thank all those guys. Hey, if you're doing any business with them, just thank them. Tell them that you listen to Strong Dads or you're somehow connected to Rock Solid Families, and you want to thank them for supporting the work and the messaging that we're putting out. So thanks to those guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's go through a couple of these statistics. Now, some of these get a little bit vague, but I think you and I can actually put some concrete behind them, right? So one of we have the top 10 issues that the father absence has impacted, all right? And again, this is not from Andy and Merle, right? This is this is outside research, all right? And one of them is the academic underperformance or educational disparities. All right, higher dropout rates, lower test scores, increased truancy, and exclusion from school. In the school setting, Andy, what did you see in the school setting, just with the kids' performance and attendance?
Yeah. And so for those of you guys who don't know, I spent 10 years as a PE teacher in the public school district here, Southwest Local at Harrison Middle School. And so you're like, well, do you even know what the academic rates are? I could probably tell you some and spit some out, but what I'm seeing is I wanted to get into administration. I had my principal license K-12. I've got that, a couple years ago, 5 years ago. I got it 5 years ago, and I had the intention of getting into administration before the change in joining Rock Solid. And so my perspective is the discipline area. I had a lot to do with discipline in terms of helping them. I did multiple times of, in school or ASA, alternative school assignment, which is the new one, in school suspensions, different things like that. So like from my perspective, I have a lot of understanding of the discipline side of it. So academic underperformance. And we say this, like, for discipline, you have 90% of the discipline comes from 10% of the kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So if you've got a total body of 1,000 kids in a school, you're probably only seeing 100 kids make up 90% of the discipline, whether it's expulsions or detentions or whatever it is. And then you're going to spend 90% of your time on those 10% because they're disrupting. And when they disrupt your chance for academic instruction between reading, math, whatever it is. And then if they do something where they've got to be suspended and they're not there, well, look at all the time they're missing being instructed by the teacher.
Right.
You could send them a workbook like, hey, this is what you missed. That doesn't do any justice for the kid who, by the way, is probably not going to do it if they're suspended. Like, oh, I'm so excited to do this math homework.
Yeah.
And so for me, when you say academic underperformance, like you just see kids who aren't there, or if they are, they're getting dealt with by administrators, teachers, counselors. They're getting in trouble. And so they're missing 90% of what the other regular students sitting in class learning and instruction are from teachers. That's where you get that disparity.
As you're talking there, Andy, like one of the things that I think people fail to realize is how much that fatherless child, and that's just how I'll refer to them for right now in our conversation, that kid who doesn't have the father actively involved, how difficult it is for him to do in school,
Yeah.
but then what he does to all the other kids that are in school.
Yes.
So you might have your kiddo, you might be doing everything right with your kid, but he's sitting in a class with one of those kids who is that 10%, who's occupying 90% of the teacher's time because of behavior or whatever else. And so if you're out there going, well, we do fine in our family, it's not our problem. I will tell you, if you visit schools, you'll see, and I got to be careful here, because if you went and you saw in a school what sometimes your kids have to deal with because of other kids' behavior and stuff, you would say to the school, hey, like, my kid's really being impacted by this kid's behavior or lack of work or attitude or whatever it is. And so this trickles out throughout. One of the I'm not saying I'm for or against private schools, public schools. That's not what my point is. But you'll see parents move into private school.
Yes.
And oftentimes you will not have necessarily better educators. I will just tell you, like, from firsthand experience, because private schools have not traditionally been able to pay as well.
That's exactly it.
And so that's why you and I were in the public schools. We had to raise our family. And so it's like, I can't do that off of, 60% salary here. And so, but what happens is you can get a better education in a private school, because oftentimes your kids are surrounded by families that really take this stuff seriously, right? Dads are involved in that kind of thing. So this speaks to the environment that is created by the fatherless condition, if that makes sense.
And this is what I struggled, because we went to East Central High School. There was no private school kids. The kids didn't leave to go to another private school.
Yeah.
This is where you live. This is where you went to school. And so I had a hard time wrapping my head around it. And I didn't enjoy seeing really good kids leave to go to other schools. And I was like, why? Well, private schools, if somebody is impacting your classroom, get out. Public schools don't have that ability. You can't just kick them out, like free and whatever education for all students. I forget, it was free and appropriate education for all students. And so if you've got a child who's doing that because the father's not in the picture helping to raise him or her the way they should be, you're stuck.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's ways they're trying to get around it, but their hands are kind of tied. And I don't know if people know that,
Yeah. Again, like, we are going to complain a little bit in this show. Like, we have kind of a rule that you get out of a 30-minute show, you get 10 minutes to complain, and you get 20 minutes to solve the problem. And we're going to ultimately here, we have a lot of topics, but we are going to work through the problem solving on these things. Okay. So the second thing was, not only do we have underperformance in the academics, but to your point, and I was involved with this side of it too, the discipline action, right? So the discipline, like, oftentimes, guys, you can, in a classroom setting, teachers will say, well, I have, out of my 24 kids or whatever, I have 6 kids on IEPs.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're like, well, okay, so I get it. IEPs require more time and commitments and conferences and different approaches that you have to make that kid successful. But it's not the IEP per se. It's what the IEP is for. You could have 6 IEPs. And if they're just academic stuff, teachers will do just fine with that. I mean, it's not easier, but they'll go, okay, I can make accommodations this way and so on. You get one IEP that is for behavior. And that will change the game completely.
Oh, yes.
Because behavior is really what determines how well the classroom's going to function daily. Right. If you're constantly having to move little Johnny, if you're constantly having to, alter how the rest of the class is functioning, then it starts to consume you. So the behavior thing is a big part of what we see, and it's connected to the fatherlessness condition.
I didn't notice this and put 2 and 2 together until probably my last 2 or 3 years. And I think that was because I'd gotten more into understanding in the administration side. But I'd see kids all the time that were great in my class, mainly boys who were single-raised moms, and they went into females' classrooms, and there was a huge lack of respect. They took them. They were snarky, sneery. They'd look at them with this, like, I ain't listening to you. And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, every single time it was almost respect to women. His dad wasn't in the picture.
Man, you hit the nail on the head on that one. I saw that frequently.
And I'm like, this kid is a bad kid. Like, he does great in my class. They're like, yeah, you know why? You're a male.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, what? Just because I'm a male? Like, yes, he doesn't have that at home. So he looks up to you and says, oh, I'm going to listen to you. I respect you. And then he comes into my classroom and he treats me like dog crap.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And so it took me a while to understand, like, yeah, it is very, very highly related. No dad in the house. The respect of the females was very, very low.
No question about it, guys. That speaks again to we're not saying right or wrong. We're saying the nature of the human, especially in the boy in this case, responds to the masculine strength.
Yes.
And if there's not the masculine strength, right away you will have young boys trying to up the authority in their own world. Like, oh, I know more than you, or you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And again, like they're just trying to spread their wings and fly.
Yeah.
You know, they want to have the control of their own life, but they don't understand that there's a time for submission.
Yes.
And that submission is huge to your kids being successful.
Yeah.
Knowing when and who and how to submit allows you to be teachable, to be coachable. Right? And versus just, I'll do it my own way. So that's a huge point there.
Yeah.
Another point in here is just the with a fatherlessness condition, the greater risk of poverty, living in disordered neighborhoods, the food insecurity of whether we need food stamps or that type of thing. So when dads are not involved, and again, this is a pretty simple one. Usually you've got half the salary coming in now, right? So if mom's out there working her tail off, many homes need two salaries to make it work, right? And so now we just have a kid whose life's tougher, right? From economic perspectives.
And they're in that cycle, they're in the circle where, you know, that's what they were raised in. And a lot of times you see the generational circle just continue. That's what they end up raising their future kids in. And then that cycle just continues. And we've heard about that. And so it takes something extraordinary to knock them off of that generational cycle for them to get out of that. But what's cool, if I'm looking at this chart, and I think it builds right off another, you have academic underperformance when you have decreased problems, behavior problems, because the kid's out of it. And then when they don't do well in school, and not that school is like, you don't know what the Pythagorean theorem is, but what they're teaching you is how to be successful when you get out of school for life. And if you're not successful, you're going to have a hard time with economic hardship, and you're not going to learn some of the delayed gratification.
Right.
That is a huge thing. We're like, oh, I just got a paycheck. You know what? I'm going to save this, knowing that if I save 2 or 3 of these, then I can go and get a better car that'll lead to X, Y, and Z. You know, I see it all the time. These kids come in with these like amazing shoes, and I'm like, this doesn't make 2 and 2 together. I know your background, but you've got the best shoes on of the school.
Right.
But it doesn't make sense for
Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
Well, it also speaks to the importance for these kids to be successful. They have to have that disciplinarian at home. And, you know, one of my statements always was when I was working with my teachers and when I was working with parents is like, listen, I think kids think we like disciplining them. Oh, you're just mean. Yeah. No, like I would love to not have to discipline you. Ooh, I think God says that too. I think he'd be like, oh, I would love if you guys would just do what you need to do. Right?
I don't have to worry about it.
But I love you so much that I want something better for you. And so what you find is you have to discipline so that your kids learn to self-discipline. Yes. And the reason why that's important is if you look at the top 5 factors of what successful people will say they have in their life that makes them successful, whether it's in sports, business, faith, whatever it is self-discipline.
Yes.
All right? Because your flesh is always screaming at you.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, let's go do this, you know?
Yep.
And you have to be able to say, not today. or maybe later.
Yep.
And so this impulsivity that you get out of these kiddos, they don't have somebody at home necessarily, a strong figure saying, no, you're not going to do that.
Yes.
It's because now's not the right time or it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
And again, so you lead these kiddos into, which is our fourth point, higher incidence of crime, just the delinquency factors. All these things come in because the impulsivity is not under control because they don't have self-discipline.
And I think that self-discipline, it's hard for a single parent to do that by themselves because you get tired.
Oh, yeah.
And there is no I'm going to tap out. Like, hey, can you tap in? Or, whatever the case is, like if you just had a bad day because life is not always easy, you don't have somebody else to say, like, listen, the church and to step up who believes and agrees with the same values that you do. When you talk about, like, let's say it's another father figure in the figure, but it's not the biological, or the mom and dad aren't on the same page and they fight against each other. Well, you're hearing one thing from one person, a different thing from another. You're even more confused. Well, that's not going to help the self-discipline. That's not going to help lead you to a stable life. And so, man, that would be so tough as a single parent to try to do that by yourself. I got no timeouts. I have to be on it every single day.
That's one of the populations that I have the greatest empathy for are the single parents.
Yes.
Because, like, how often do you and Catherine play tag team?
Oh, every day.
Every day, right?
This morning we did it.
Yeah. Like, hey, can you watch them for a second? I have to go to the bathroom. Or, I have something I have to work on. If you're a single parent, you're using TVs, screens, bedtime. You're using whatever you can to get a little break from the kiddos to just get your life together.
Yep.
All right, which is not, a lot of these things are not the right things to use or not healthy things to use.
No.
I'm going to combine the next two areas because in my mind they go together. All right, and that is the fatherless condition adds to the increased risk of substance abuse and mental health issues. All right.
Yeah.
And so what happens, guys, is when kids, even though they can't tell you this, kids have to have stability in their life. All right, they have to have stability because stability equals security. Even if they don't like stability, we're going to bed at 8 p.m. every night. I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to. No, you're going to bed at that time because it creates that predictability. That's that stability, and that's at least allows them to know what home base is.
Yep.
Right. At least I know. Right. Yes. Without that, like if we have moving targets, kids will get confused. And with confusion comes anxiety.
Yeah.
Right. And so when we have little kids, and so I'll talk about second grader, third grader, fourth grader, and they don't know kind of how the house runs because there's not mom and dad, that male and female strength coming in and weighing in on how life's going to go in that house. The kid is kind of left to fend for themselves. Kids will kind of go one of two ways, right? Your anxious kid who's kind of overwhelmed and either wants to do everything right or doesn't know where to begin will become high anxiety kids. They'll become high anxiety, afraid of their own shadow, afraid to take chances, afraid of making mistakes, right? Because they just don't get encouraged. They think every bad decision is the end of the world, right? Yeah. The other side, and this is where, but by the way, both of these can be equally bad or costly. The other side is, and I see this more with boys, but you could definitely see it with girls. If my world's unpredictable and I'm getting a little bit scared, I'm going to harden up and I'm going to get tough.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you will see these hard-nosed little third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh graders all the way through middle school, all the way through high school. You can't tell me what to do. I'll do what I want to do. And they start to become their own little king.
Yeah.
And they're really, it's fear-driven.
Yes.
Because they don't want to be out of control.
No.
Right? But there's nobody in the house taking control.
Yeah.
And so what happens is they will become hardened and tough, surviving.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're surviving.
Yes.
And you can't expect a 10-year-old to know the right decisions he's just making any decision that seems to make sense for him in the moment to get through that day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So we get into middle school and high school. Kids are looking for a break. That's where we start to see alcohol, weed, different things like this, nicotine, where kids can alter their state of mind.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, this is cool. This is fun. Yeah. This is,
You see, I taught health for 5 years in the classroom. And one of the things, too, we had always said was, when people turn to those substances, it's because when they are on that elevated whatever nicotine rush or all those what the drugs do to your body, that self they like more than their ordinary self, right? They're escaping like that fear that they feel through the anxiety. Well, if I'm high, I don't feel it.
Right.
So I like being high more than I like being normal.
Yeah.
And then that becomes their normal.
Yeah.
And then when they're off of that, it's even exacerbated. Like, oh, not only do I have the anxiety and the fear that I was running from before, but now my body is dependent upon this. And so it's a cycle, just like that generational cycle. You just become a different cycle that your body gets used to. And it's even that much more worse for them.
Yeah. And so mom and dads out there, that if you're listening, you're not going to hear a high schooler say, I just like to get drunk. I just like, they're not going to say that. What they do say is, I just want to have fun. I just want to be happy. I just like to party.
Hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so what they're telling you is that is a mental release place where they're releasing the anxiety, they're releasing the stress, and that feels good.
Yeah.
And the alcohol or drug or whatever is part of the component that allows that to happen,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And so they don't really even understand that they're using these things to disguise or cover up the anxiety that they have. They just know, hey, I just like to party. This is fun. It's cool. And in the meantime, the addictions are starting, the risk of the behavior, who knows what, drunk driving, all these different things come into play.
Yeah. And that one's going to lead to our next one too. Like your home state, if that is that should be your kids. I'm home.
Oh man. Yeah.
Man, can I tell you about school? It was, like, okay, good. Yeah. Should be a relaxing place. Like we tell our kids their rooms, knock before you get in. And even us as parents, like I'll still knock before I go in my son's room.
Yeah.
It's his room. That is his one place. Now he doesn't get to do everything in there. I'll tell you that, but that is his place. Like if he goes away, he goes to his room.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, close the door.
Peace.
You need some time to yourself. I get it. This summer, we're also going to let him decorate. He's already picked out colors. We're going to do some stuff with it, but that is his little area of kingdom. So I'll knock before I go in. I'm like, hey, bud, what's going on? And so that is his way. Like you need to have that. And the next one, the next issue is higher rates of child maltreatment and neglect. And if they don't have that safe space of comfort of, let me relax, let me unload the stuff. Can you guys listen to me? And I'm struggling with this and dealing with this, and let me help you as a dad and a parent and working together. I was looking over what are some basic human needs, and I couldn't remember. I knew it was like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but they need food, water, shelter, sleep, safety, and security. Like basic humans, if you don't have that, you can't really function. And if kids don't have that from both parents feeding in, so we talk about this fatherless issue of like, all right, if you're not helping, you and your wife coming together to create just those psychological needs, like, yeah, you're going to have neglect. And then the parents who, if they don't have increased vulnerability to abuse and neglect children, often stemming from economic resource shortages. Yeah, they're getting upset and mad. They're not feeling safe and secure, so they take it out on kids, and that cycle.
Yeah. So that's a maltreatment we talk about, and it's not that the parents are intentionally trying to mistreat their kids. No. It's that they're running so thin trying to keep life going that the neglect is coming into play, that oftentimes there's abuse of drugs and alcohol on their side because they're so stressed out. They just, I just have a night out with my friends where they go out and, a little alcohol, a little drugs, whatever, and that makes them happy.
Yes.
Right? But it's a very temporary fix.
Yep.
Another one, and this is going to lean more towards, it seems like the girls, but really this goes to both sides. Fatherlessness leads to increased rates of teen pregnancy, the teen pregnancy rate. And so this goes on both sides.
Yeah.
One, I think I shared with you earlier that I could tell, and this used to drive my daughter crazy, but my daughter had an inclination towards drama. Okay. Yeah. Like she kind of is wants to know everybody's business, and that kind of thing, which that in and of itself is not bad or good. It just is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you handle all of the problems incorrectly, in other words, you start weighing in on everybody else's problems or other people weighing in on your problems. Yeah. That's when we start to stir drama.
Yes.
And so I would be looking at my daughter when she'd start that, and I would say, stop. Yeah. Stop. That's not yours to get into.
Yes.
All right. And so that strength of the male is important.
Yeah.
All right. Not just on the drama side, but on weighing in on your daughter, on how she's going to handle her body.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
Teaching your daughter how boys think. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, all day long, mom can say, hey, you need to take care of yourself and this, that, and the other. From a dad's perspective, he can say with certainty, I know what that boy is thinking.
Yep.
All right. And so here's what he's after. Here's how, here's the warning signs of how he's going to treat you or how you should desire for him to treat you. And so you got to weigh in on these, Dad. Like ultimately you're going to see if you're a strong, good, loving dad, there's a very good chance that your daughter's going to choose a man like that.
Yeah.
If you're not good, all right, if you're abusive, if you're neglectful, if you're not involved, she will choose the same type of thing, right? Because it's familiar, and she's learned how to cope and adapt. And the next thing you know, your daughter's with a creep.
Yes.
And you're wondering, well, why'd
you choose him?
Why'd you choose him?
Yeah.
Right? Well, because of you, Dad.
So my wife said this. This was profound. It took me a long time to understand what she said. We've got 2 young daughters, and she said both of them are going to look at you, and they're going to think that they want to marry you. Like she said at one point when her mom was asking her, like, oh, what kind of man do you want to get married? And she looks like, I'm going to marry Daddy.
Yeah.
But she didn't have that, like, it wasn't like this depraved thing, but it was like, you, as my mom, you married Dad. That's what I see. That's what it should be. That I should marry this guy.
Right.
And they say like, what, you marry your mom or you marry your dad for the women. And so, and I think that goes like this increased teen pregnancy rates. I think human beings want to be in that community. And what is the greatest form of that as a husband and wife, right? Reflecting the unity between a man and a woman. And so when your children look up and they say, boom, that's it. That's their first knowledge of that's what family is. Mm-hmm. It's mom and dad living like this. And so all the time, my wife's looking at me like, what you do, she is seeing. You don't even know it, but she is watching every move you make and every move you make to me. Not because she wants to be treated a certain way, right? But she is honestly true. Yeah. Like, that's what they see. Yeah. And so I think when you see that teen pregnancy rates like increase because the woman, or even like you said, the teenage boy, both of them are craving that community of a man and a woman coming together, right? And they do it too young, when they're not ready. Yeah,
and because they didn't have the good, strong guidance. So the other side of this is definitely we're talking to our daughters, but we got to talk to our sons.
Yes,
there are many dads that almost think it's pretty cool or fun or whatever, like if their son's out being sexually active, he's just doing what boys do or men do. And it's like, no, part of the deal here is teaching your son how to be a man. And part of that is responsibility.
Yes.
Right? Like ultimately here, all of this comes down to the responsibility of a man. And if you have your 16-year-old boy out doing every girl he can do without any understanding of the responsibility behind it, you're part of the problem, Dad, right? Or lack of dad. So it's really important that we have this conversation and we have this understanding, not just for our daughters, but our young men as well.
Yep.
This one leads to the whole. Let's combine 9 and 10 because 9 and 10 really go together, and this is just the negative impact when fathers aren't around in the co-parenting, right? And then typically, not always, but typically, if father's not around or not doing a good job, mothers stay involved way more frequently than dad.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll see, I haven't talked to my dad in 10 years. And so in the meantime, mom's kind of running everything.
Yep.
She's, as we talked about before, she's overwhelmed,
Oh, yeah.
stressed out, pushing her limits, right? And then, like, when you parent, it's good to have, I think you mentioned before, common values so that you two can approach how you're going to come at your kid.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Well, we have integrity as one of our common values. We have trust. We have honesty, whatever. And the two of you coming together on those and then joining forces in terms of how we're going to enforce it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so when you don't have those, you have one person or no people, right? You could have the kid just fending for themselves and doing whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
But you have this one person who's trying to carry this on, and the whole thing falls apart.
And when you say co-parenting too, you see a lot of single parents, they can't do it by themselves because I got to work a full-time job.
Yeah.
So then you see grandparents come into picture
Yes,
too heavily. And grandparents aren't meant to be, and you guys did a show on that, on grandparents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're not meant to take that role. That is not biblically what they're supposed to be. And so then you've got another skewed aspect of what a family dynamic looks like from the child's perspective, because again, the mom, dad, whoever the single parent is trying to, like you said, survive in this world. And so then now, yeah, you got family stability, disrupted family dynamics, increased strain on the remaining parent because, well, I got to figure out how am I dropping you guys off to daycare, and then I got to afford daycare, and then I got to pick you up, but I can't because I got a meeting at that time. And this, yeah, that stress, I can't imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just, people can do it for a while, but over time they have to adapt, and they become a less than healthy version of themselves trying to get through, right?
Yes,
like
yes.
You're running so thin, it doesn't take much for you to finally break.
Yep.
All right. So guys, these are the big points. So what's our job here with Strong Dads? First off, I just can't emphasize enough, you don't even know how important you are.
Yeah.
Right? Like most guys just are clueless. They think, well, because they can't nurse, because they don't like changing diapers, whatever, they oh, well, she'll take care of that. They don't understand the importance of the masculine strength in running the home and disciplining kids and providing for kids. So the first thing I really want to say is your kids need you.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
kids need you. Your wife needs you. Step up your game.
Yeah.
You are a critical player in this whole situation.
Yeah.
Any thought on that, Andy, in terms of the strength that you bring that, in your case, like that Catherine doesn't bring with your kids?
Yeah. And I think too, especially for our son who can see modeled, and for our daughters to see what it should look like as they start getting to the point where they get older, they're looking for that partnership and who God put on the earth for them to be. That and I think too, because we're so different people, Catherine and I, if I were to try to do it by myself, I would miss the mark on so many things because that's just not who I am.
Right.
And so looking at my wife, like she is amazing in her area, and she way misses the mark on so many things, right? Whatever that might be. And this is why opposites attract.
Right.
The Lord put us together because we go together and we complete a whole of how we can parent each other. And so for all of you men who are listening to this as Strong Dads, encouraging your friends, and it's tough. Being a dad is hard, and being in a relationship with somebody, a healthy marriage relationship, marriages aren't always easy.
No.
And so one of the most time-consuming but most rewarding things is having a healthy relationship with your wife, and then being able to go and see your children flourish within that. But it takes time. It takes hard work. And so, I encourage all the men and you to encourage your friends and your men and your dads to be more present, to not just, I'm home. No, to put the phone down, to turn the TV off, turn the game off, and go and play catch with your sons, daughters, and whatever it is.
Yeah. So, and we'll close out here because there's so much that we can get into on each one of these topics that we'll get into, but not today.
Yeah.
I want you guys, you got to start thinking about being a father like lifting weights and training.
Yeah.
I remember early on in my days of just starting to get more fit and be like, why can't why can't I just train and get to a certain level and my body just maintains it forever?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I finally got to the point where I could bench press 300 pounds. Good. I don't want to go any higher. And I never have to train again because I built it. It'll
always be there.
It'll always be there.
No.
And the law of thermodynamics says energy will always be drained out of things, right?
Yes. Yes.
It always leaves.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
You lose it. And so I want you to think about fatherhood as the same way. You can be a great dad for a weekend. That doesn't make you a great dad. You have to go to the gym every day, right? You have to do something every day. And so I want you to start shifting your brain from doing certain events, big events especially, and this leads a lot to our dads that are in divorce situations where they maybe have limited time with their kids. Do stuff daily, even if it's smaller.
Yes.
Right. So maybe we didn't take the kids to the Florida vacation, but on a regular basis we checked in on them. On a regular basis we did some discipline. On a regular basis we just had fun with them. Right. These are the things, guys. This is a daily trip to the gym that's going to grow you and your kids over time versus these one-off. I forever have pushed back about this. This became a big topic when divorce was growing back in the 80s and 90s. And you heard this. Listen, it's not about how much time. It's about quality time. Garbage. Guys, that's garbage. We need quality and quantity.
Yes.
We need both. And don't lie to yourself by saying, oh, when I'm with my kids, it's great. No, that's garbage. You got to go to the gym daily when it comes to raising your kids.
Yes.
And so that would be our one takeaway from here. Even if you're in a broken home situation, we want to mend the fence the best we can with our ex or their mom so that we can be in our kids in a cooperative daily way. So critical stuff here.
Yep, and I would put that in a phrase because we use this with the guy that I really like. I've talked about coming on here, McBee. Consistency versus intensity.
Yeah,
right
absolutely.
then and there. Consistency versus intensity will win the battle every day.
Yeah. So guys, we'll continue this conversation, but we want to go thank, again, our sponsors. We want to thank the Hebron Grill, Quality Auto Mart, and Casey's Outdoor Solutions. We also want to thank all you guys for coming alongside and supporting what we're doing here and our messaging.
Yeah.
Andy is now on staff, so if you have a young man or you yourself are interested and you're tired of talking to the old guy here, Andy is taking on his clients right now, so feel free to reach out. Our office number is 812-576-7625. You can check us out, all the different things we got going on our website at rocksolidfamilies.org. So that's about all we got right now. You good?
Yeah, go be a strong dad.
All right. Are you hungry for some fantastic food and a great atmosphere? Then head over to the Hebron Grill. Distinctively Southern and soulfully unique, the Hebron Grill has something for everyone. It's the perfect spot for family dinners, a quick lunch, or catching up with friends. We want to send a huge thank you to the Hebron Grill for being a sponsor of the Strong Dads podcast and for their incredible support in helping us empower dads everywhere. So the next time you're looking for a great meal, remember the Hebron Grill. Find them online or stop by today. That's the Hebron Grill. Great food and great community. Is your car making a strange noise? Or maybe your golf cart needs a tune-up? Then you need to head to Quality Auto Mart. Quality Auto Mart isn't just about great auto repair and muffler service for your car. They're also your go-to experts for golf cart sales and repair. And we want to give a huge thank you to Quality Auto Mart for being a dedicated sponsor of the Strong Dads podcast. Their support helps us empower dads in our community and beyond. For all your car repair needs, muffler service, or anything golf cart related, trust the team at Quality Auto Mart. Visit them today and tell them the Strong Dads podcast sent you. That's Quality Auto Mart, located on Route 46 outside Batesville, Indiana. Call them at 812-934-2301.